Let's get a fresh perspective on $100 silver. What do you say? It could happen. It will happen at some point. And how does that make you feel when you hear $100 silver? Let me remind you of something. Just back in 2003, 20 years ago, silver was trading around $7.50 per ounce, a fraction of where it is today, a third of where it is today. So the fact that silver could go up exponentially is not out of the question, especially when we consider a lot of the macro factors going on right now. That's what we're going to cover in this video, but I got a special surprise for you because I did ask the world's smartest computer, the supercomputer robot that everybody's talking about, and it is pretty darn smart, I gotta say, ChatGPT from OpenAI, what it thought about this prospect of $100 silver, and I was shocked with what it told me. It laid out a really strong thesis, the conditions necessary to get to that price. I'm going to share all that with you right now. So what do you think of Keith Neumeyer? Have you heard of him? You probably have. If you're invested in the precious metal sector, he's like royalty, especially in the world of silver. He's the CEO of First Majestic Silver, and he's been a strong proponent of silver for decades. He's the first guy who ever talked about triple-digit silver. Let's see how Keith stacks up against the supercomputer ChatGPT from OpenAI. I'm going to read you what the supercomputer said when I asked it about the prospects for $100 silver. It said, for the price of silver to reach $100 per ounce, several factors would need to align, including, number one, increased demand. The demand for silver would need to significantly increase, which can happen if it becomes more widely used in various industries, such as electronics, solar panels, and medicine. Check, 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 and even more. Electric cars, you know, the whole list of industries that have a growing demand for silver. Number two, limited supply. The supply of silver would need to be limited or reduced, either through mining challenges or a decrease in exploration and development efforts. Check, 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 check. Talk to any CEO in the mining industry and they will tell you there's been a massive underinvestment in exploration, in development of new silver mines. The money just has not been there. And to make matters worse, finding new silver deposits is extremely difficult. And to make matters worse, when they do find one, now with all the different jurisdictional issues going on around the world, it's becoming super increasingly hard to get new mines permitted. We also know from the Silver Institute that worldwide mine output of silver has been decreasing. So we know the overall supply of silver is decreasing. It's important for us to remember that all types of crazy things, not just silver, can go up in value by multiple times. 15 years ago, I developed a fascination with Honda three-wheelers. Those ATCs, they were made during the late 70s and mid 80s, and then they were outlawed because they were dangerous. I know, but I loved them. They were made in Japan. They were like little tanks. And back then on Craigslist, I could pick up like mint condition Honda ATCs for $400 or $500. You know, to me, I really loved them. I thought they were cool. I liked to ride them. And I thought they were an incredibly good value. You know what happened 10 years later when I had kids and I didn't have room to store my 12 Honda ATCs anymore? I went to sell them and I realized that the value of them had increased by 2 to 3 times each. So when you see a good value, when your gut tells you I'm getting a lot for the money right? The fiat that I'm spending, like a lot of us feel right now is the case with silver, oftentimes that can lead to a multiple time return in the future. Just to prove to you that I'm not full of balloon juice, was my mom the only mom who said that you're full of balloon juice? Nonetheless, to prove to you that I'm not full of crud, if you go in the YouTube search bar and put in Ron's Basement World Record ATC Jump, you can see a death-defying jump that I accomplished back in 2007 on a Honda ATC. Now back to silver. Let's move on to point number 3, which is strong economic conditions. A strong global economy with high levels of economic growth and consumer spending would support higher commodity prices. That one is up in the air, right? We don't know what the economy is going to do in 2023. A lot of people think we could be heading for a big recession. Jerome Powell at the United States Federal Reserve is talking about navigating through this time period with a soft landing without a major recession. That one remains to be seen. However, if there is a recession, we know that'll prompt the Fed and other central bankers to react with more dovish policy, to print more money, and that will support the price of silver. Number 4, inflationary pressures. A decrease in purchasing power of money could increase the price of silver as investors seek to protect their wealth through investments in hard assets. Check, 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 right? Inflation is a big, big issue that we know is not going anywhere. The underlying factors that are causing inflation are only going to remain and potentially get stronger. The national debt, just the whole monetary system in the West, which is held together by bubblegum and duct tape. We can definitely see inflationary pressure. So there's the 4 key components that ChatGPT, OpenAI, supercomputer robot laid out for the story of $100 silver. What do you think? I think that for the most part, all 4 of those factors, right, are reasonably in place. And we don't necessarily need all 4 of them to perfectly come true to get much, much higher silver prices. Hey, I know the recent movements in silver, it's down like $2 per ounce in the last 24 hours as I'm recording this video. It's frustrating. We need to keep our eyes on the broader picture. Keep a broad perspective. See the forest through the trees. And when we do that, even a supercomputer can tell us that the future looks bright for silver and gold. Thank you for joining me in the basement. I hope you enjoyed your time here. I hope you got some value, maybe a little entertainment and even education. Please come back, watch another video, visit the merch shop. Link in the description below. You can get your own Blindfolded Bear coffee mug. Most important, until next time, be well.